Vanessa Spiva is one dynamic realtor in Los Angeles. She stopped by the Chandria show and we talked from rent to real estate, tips for first-time homebuyers. Vanessa Spiva, real estate extraordinaire. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here today. How are you feeling?
Pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's new in the real estate world?
Well, it's a hot market right now. So busy times, very, very busy, and it moves fast. So as soon as you find a house that you like, it's probably going to be gone within a week. So dealing with a lot of clients, and even today, being Saturday, is a busy day. But a lot of showings, and again, houses just don't last on the market, and it's low inventory. That could be good for sellers, but for buyers, you got to kind of be on your game and get a home that you like very quickly.
And make a move.
Yeah, make a move.
Can't go home and sleep on it for 30 days.
Right. Know what you want before you start searching.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and know exactly what you have to have and the things that are just preferences. That way you can kind of separate everything, and you'll know, okay, that one has 3 bedrooms. I have to have that. I could be flexible in the garage, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of how it works. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, tell me about yourself and how long you've been in real estate.
Yeah, I've been doing real estate for about 3 years. I started right after I got my master's degree, and I got a job right after school, but it was just to kind of get a job because I had just finished school. So it was kind of like, well, let me just hop into something and then I'll figure it out. It wasn't like my dream job. I stayed there for about a year, but then I was like, you know what? I'm just not having enough fun. I didn't really get to have a lot of personal time with people. I did a lot of desk work and analytical stuff and writing bills and things like that. So it was a little stressful, but more importantly, I just didn't have a lot of human contact. And I love that because that's what makes it fun for me to have personality and talk to other people and help people one-on-one. So then my dad just told me, he was like, well, just get your real estate license just in case.
Wow, Dad.
Yeah, he's a business person and business minded. So he was like, well, you never know, you're not really feeling your job 100%. So just have it. And so I went and got my license. And then right after that, I just naturally started to go into real estate as if I was going to do it full time. And then there was probably about 6 months to where I still had my old job because I didn't have much business going on. But as soon as people started to find out I was in the real estate business, and they were like, well, help me with this, help me with that. So then I was like, oh, okay, well, I actually need to dedicate 40 to 50 hours a week on real estate and less on everything else. So that's when I made the shift.
Got it.
And I'm glad I did, yeah, because again, it's a fun job for me, and I like to help people directly. And to me, I'm helping people with their most important decisions. Things that change their life, after they get married and they want a home, or they want a bigger home, or even, empty nesters that want to downsize after everyone leaves, or if they just want to cash out on their equity. It's like a big decision for their personal lives, and I love being a part of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a gift.
Yeah,
Now, it seems rent is high everywhere, right?
Right.
Which is a great reason to dive into home ownership.
Yeah.
So from your perspective, why is rent so high in a lot of major cities like LA?
Well, I think one reason is shortage of housing. Shortage of housing. LA has more people than what it can hold, and they are building some new developments, but they're not all affordable. So if you drive around Hollywood or any areas that have new high rises going up or new apartment buildings, they look like luxury buildings. And so it's like, well, not everybody could afford to pay that. And if they can, you may not want that to go towards rent. So even with the city trying to keep up with the shortage of housing, I don't think they're keeping up with the affordable supply of housing. And then that's when home ownership can come in. Yeah.
Okay. Definitely needs to come in. So in your opinion, what are some benefits to home ownership over renting?
Number one, equity. Equity. As a fun project, I calculated all the money. When you're renting, you're paying off someone else's mortgage. You're not paying off your own, right? And then that money's not going anywhere. It's just kind of being wasted every single month and every year after year. So I calculated how much money I wasted on rent within the past 10 years. And it was $250,000.
Oh my God.
In the past 10 years. So I'm 31 now. So from 21, if I would have started some kind of, even if I had to partner up with a parent or something, if I just would have got it going back then I would have already paid off $250,000 of a property. Basically, I would have had that in equity. So And that's just the main thing, just to have that equity, because when you resell, not only are you making money off the equity, but also the appreciation, and that all adds up together. So most likely, 9 times out of 10, unless it's a bad market, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up in a better position if you ever decide to sell. And if not, if you have to take out, if there's a family emergency or some kind of financial emergency, at least you have the security of your home, and you can kind of take that out on your home if you need to, but at least you'll have that option. So I would just say, number one, building equity.
Wow.
Yeah.
As a renter, I'm feeling that. Definitely.
I know. When I calculated my numbers, I was like, what?
When this is over, I'm going to go home and calculate mine.
Yeah.
Because I'm 36, so I would really be curious to know
it's probably
how much
right
I
around
spent.
there. It's probably right around there.
For someone who's interested in home ownership, let's talk about some tips to prepare for the big purchase.
I would say number one is get your financials in order. That means checking your credit. I know that can be scary, but just at least know what it is and know what the issues are so that you could fix it. And then also if you have credit cards that are all maxed out, you don't have to go pay them all off at once. I would just try to work on them in big chunks, like $400 here, and just try to get it down, not all the way off. You don't have to pay it all the way down, but just try to make some progress. Because the first thing when you apply for a loan is they're going to obviously look at your credit score.
Right. And
they're also going to look at your debt to income ratio. So most of us have student loans that we can't do too much about just yet, but what you can fix and kind of work on is paying down your debt and your credit cards.
So working on the debt is the first
working
big
on
step.
the debt, and at
You're
least
thinking about being a
checking
homeowner.
your score to know where you fall. Because then you don't know how much work you got to do. If you think you're a 720 and you're really a 620, but you never went back and checked, you're not going to know the next steps to take. So
absolutely. What are some pitfalls that you encourage renters ready for home ownership to avoid outside of not checking the credit? Is it something with maybe down payments or anything like that? Are there any pitfalls you can think of?
I would say just take some time to understand what you want, because you don't want to go buy a home because you didn't take the time to think about what you want and need for the long term.
So that's the start. Start with a piece of paper and what you want.
Right, because a lot of people, I would say when people get cold feet, it's because they're starting to second guess what they wanted in the first place.
Oh, I see.
Or maybe there was someone a part of the process that's no longer around. I don't know. It could shift in many different ways, but I would just say keep sight of what you want, because that will keep you from making a bad purchase. That will prevent you from overpaying for a home. Because if you don't have to have a pool, then you're not going to go overpay for a home that has a pool just because you like other things in the house. So just knowing what you want will keep you from making the bad decision, and it'll keep you from having buyer's remorse.
And the part about the credit is so important because it greatly affects the interest rates, and so you're going to end up spending more on a home.
Yeah, it does.
If you could just pay off $2,000 or $3,000 could make a difference on your credit.
Right. Okay, so just have all your financials in order. So that way, most people refinance anyway, but at least you'll have the option of refinancing when you want. It won't be like, oh my God, I have to refinance, I'm in trouble.
Right.
I'm panicking. It won't be that kind of thing. At least you know that you did everything you could to get yourself financially prepared and in the best position by the first time that you qualified for the loan. And then if you have to make some adjustments later, then you can do that.
Awesomeness. Walk me through a typical home purchase experience, quickly, from beginning to end.
Sure.
I know it's arduous, but
I'll give you the short version, and I'll try not to get carried away. But first thing is checking your financials on your own, and then getting set up with a great lender. And then that could be, people think it's simple, but it really depends on what kind of work you're in. So if you're, on salary and you get W-2s, then it may not be that difficult. But if you're in the entertainment industry, like my uncle, he's in the movie business, so he only works 6 months out of the year. And he has a whole bunch of 1099s and contract work. So that required a different lender. So first step is getting qualified with the lender, but make sure you're with the right kind.
Lender first, when commonly people start with the agent first.
Well,
right?
Lender first. And you could start with your bank, or you could start with, they kind of go hand in hand, actually, because most realtors will know which lender is best for the person.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Some people do it. You could do it either way, but do them close within time, I would say. So a lot of people ask me, am I with the right lender? And, that kind of thing. And sometimes I'll say, well, actually, go, if you're a part of a credit union, check with your credit union, because most of the time you'll get a better rate, or they'll take care of you differently, or lower interest rate, or they'll have some kind of special program. So if you have a realtor already, and if it's not me, it should be.
It should be her.
But check with your realtor, see if they have any suggestions, because chances are they work day in and day out with a lot of lenders. Not just one or two, but they've probably worked with a whole bunch. So they know which ones are good and which ones have creative financing, which ones have like standard cookie cutter programs. So after the lender and the realtor, whichever way you decide to do that, you'll start looking for homes. And that's the fun part, house hunting. And again, as long as you know what you want.
House hunting is the fun part.
It is, but you got to do your homework. You got to sit down with your spouse and your family and know what you want, and then you can go house hunting. And once you know what you want, it's really an easy process, and it should be easy and fun, not stressful. And I thought I wanted this, but I don't. So that's why you got to kind of do your own homework before you actually get out on into the neighborhoods. And then after house hunting, once you find a couple of homes or a home that you like, then you get with your realtor and you put in an offer. And then after that, once the offer is accepted, now that part can kind of be drawn out into days or weeks sometimes, depending if the offer gets accepted or not. And then this market that we're in, it's a seller's market, and there's a lot of buyers and there's a lot of competition for a house. So minimum, each house, as long as it's priced well and as long as it's in good condition, each house probably has, already automatically 5 offers on it.
Wow.
Yeah, people don't, and we don't like to be in bidding wars because it's just a stressful process, but that's just the market that we're in, because there's not a lot of supply and there's not a lot of homes for sale in the first place.
Wow.
But again, if you have a great realtor and you know what you want, you can kind of just keep moving. And I always suggest people to put in offers on more than one house at a time if they like them, because that way you have options. So if one house, if you don't kind of get the offer accepted on that house, you can kind of say, well, I love the other blue house, that one is just as good, let's go for that one. And then next thing you know, your offer will get accepted on there, and then you can hop into escrow. And escrow is it's an easier process. It's systematic. The first part of it, I would say the first week or 2 weeks, is all about doing your property inspections, which again, your realtor will guide you on which inspection company to hire and what things to look for and all kinds of stuff like that. And you can make sure the property is in good condition. And then after that, everything just goes back to your lender. And so your lender will kind of start underwriting the loan. And really, the buyers don't have to do much towards the end of escrow.
Okay.
It's really just the beginning, just to kind of make sure the property's in good condition. And if they want anything fixed, then they can do like a request for repairs, and the seller will accommodate that most of the time, depending on what it is. And then after that, after the end of escrow and the loan is underwritten, then you're pretty much ready to close escrow and you're a new homeowner.
You're a new homeowner, you're planning the housewarming party and everything else. So that's
Exactly.
great advice. If anyone has real estate questions, how can they stay in contact with you when they want you to become their real estate agent? You're going to call Vanessa.
Yes.
How can they stay in contact with you?
Well, first and foremost, please do contact me. But I am very active on Facebook. So I'm always out on Facebook Live when I go to an open house, or I do my own open houses for my listings, or if I'm showing buyers, I like to put those on Facebook Live. And I like when people can jump in the conversation, because they could say, hey, what kind of kitchen is that? Or what layout is that? And then I could respond.
Or I want a kitchen like that.
Yeah, exactly. Or something like that. Or what neighborhood? Or, hey, can you walk back outside so I can see the neighborhood?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'll do that when people interact.
Technology in business go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
And I like offering that kind of information, because when people see me on Facebook Live a lot and they see the homes that I do, when you call me, you kind of already know. You're like, hey, I want a home just like the one you did 4 weeks ago, that blue one with the yellow door. And I'm like, yep. And then when we meet, we already kind of have that established. So keep in touch with me on social media, Facebook, Vanessa Spiva. I think you could just search me on there. And then my phone number is 310-845-6761.
Thank you so much for talking to me today. I am so excited about all the information that you've shared with my viewers and myself today. So thank you.
Thank you.